Alright, what is up everybody? In this video we're going to be checking out every new unit from the Bleach update, update 6.7 in Anime Last Stand. So this is every unit except for the divine boosted ones because those are kind of buffs in my opinion. We'll check those out in a buff units video later. But first up we're going to have Soo Fun. Thank you to Ryze for showcasing this one. So Soo Fun, explosive. Doing 3.66 every 4.19. This is with all triple S 7k, crit tree, no soul, no godly lead. Okay, so 7k kills in crit tree and 900 placement cost there. Okay. Line AoE with the passive Heavy Striker. When she attacks an enemy afflicted with detonation, deal her damage plus the remaining detonation damage instantly after upgrade 8. Wait, after upgrade 8, applies detonation on hit naturally. Okay, so she doesn't start out with detonation, she later gets it, and when she hits something with detonation, she blows it up immediately and does extra damage. Okay. Relentless Assault. When an enemy enters 50% of her range, enemies walk backwards for 5 seconds, applies daze after 5 seconds, once per enemy. So we're not really reaching 50% of her range. If you want to check it out right there though, there's a circle. So you can kind of tell when you're placing her. Okay, so you can actually see the range there. But let's go with the upgrades now. Thank you again, Ryze. So upgrade 4, we got Mukyu Shunko. Mukyu Shunko. Another line AoE. Damage so far, I mean for Ghost Growers it's not that great, but it's not that bad. So, Piercing Hornet, okay. 120k upgrade 8, new attack, circle AoE. And she is now gonna have detonation, yep. Which is not actually doing 20.3 mil, it's doing a lot more. It just doesn't display properly, it's doing like 406 mil I think, or something like that, or more than that. 500 mil, 500 mil. I'm tweaking. Okay. Jakuho Raijo Ben. Jakuho Raijo Ben. I think I got that. Okay. DPS on final upgrade, 800k total, doing 3.1 mil, 318 mil, with detonation doing 2.5 times that every 2.99. Not that bad. We want to pop ability. Check it out here. Make sure I have the ability animation on. Okay. I might have not had it on. I might have not had it on. Okay. You know what? Don't know if it has an animation. That's my bad. Jakuho Raijo Ben. On activation, it deals 50 times current damage, inflict detonation, and unstable. This nuke only deals 20% damage to bosses and mini-bosses. I mean, 50 times the current damage is like 15 bill, and apparently doesn't have an animation. Okay, so didn't miss out. Thanks for letting us know, Ryze. There's the blessing, by the way. There's the, like, armbands or whatever. I mean, not bad, but I think she's pretty mid. Thank you again, Ryze, though. Moving on to the next one. Next up, we got Shenji Flipped. He's gonna be triple S everything. 6k kills in the crit tree, and no soul, no godly. Thank you to LEQ_O for showcasing this one. So we have him line AoE on placement here for 1.5k. He does have a counter above him called Labs. Let me check that out right now. Okay. Wall of text passes, but you know what, whatever. Every 3 seconds inflict one of the following to all enemies, 6 seconds walk back, 10 seconds stun, or 18 seconds slow. Okay. Have this passive been activated 5 times, unlock Upside Down. Upside Down right here. Every 99 seconds for 33 seconds, all enemies take plus 20% damage from all bleed type dots. Enemies under a bleed type dot are inflicted with stun by Shenji Flipped attacks. Okay, so he can stun, and he can also buff bleed. Apply Shred and Shred and Explode are really good. Wow, those are Renola's passives, right? And then also effects are 15% more powerful. There's a really good debuffer so far. Flower Protection, when an enemy under slow or stun type effect is in Shenji Flipped unit's range, this enemy cannot debuff or stun Shenji Flipped. Damage dealt to this enemy is reflected to nearby enemies for 5% of this total damage. Okay, so if he attacks an enemy, it is reflected onto more enemies for 5% of that. Okay, so he's good for AoE damage as well as crowd control with stunning. Okay. Overall, a good enemy debuffer and crowd control AoE damage dealer. Destruction Energy Barrage upgrade 4. He becomes a circle AoE. He is hybrid. I don't know if he was in placement, but you can probably rewind and check if we missed it. Upgrade 8, he gains Zero. Okay. Guessing that's a line AoE. Yep, huge line. And it is a giant red explosion thing there. You can see the countdowns on collapse and upside down above him. Okay, max him out. Total of like 630k. He has the ability Reverse Evil. Upon activation, plus 50% range for Shenji, plus 20% range for all units in range, so a range buff, okay. Every attack in range has a 10% chance to stun an ally for 2 seconds. Shinji's immune though. He's actually going to stun your allies, not that good, but I mean, situationally can be okay with like a gimmick that I might make a video on later with Fern, if they didn't patch that yet. When an ally is stunned in range, Shenji follows up that next ally's attack for 100% of their damage. Flaps his buff for... Okay, so he's going to be a really good debuffer, and also do like a follow-up attack for units and also maybe stun them. He's alright. I think he's actually pretty good. And for Avatar Glorious, the damage is really nice actually. 3.12 SPA, 805 mil, line AoE. This is definitely way better than Soo Fun, I think. I mean, the amount of stall you get from these passives here, goated. But, on usability. Check that out. Thank you again, LEQ_O. This guy's looking pretty crazy, and no animation on that. Kind of expected there. He does have a cool blessing though. Nice shirt, by the way. But yeah, he looks pretty awesome with that flower under him. Nice, nice. Thank you again. Moving on to the next one. Moving on to Aisen Transcended, arguably the big unit of the update. The VFX actually don't look as bad as they did in the trailer. It looks pretty good. Starts off as a line AoE, thank you to GodOfCheese. Let's get the info in here. All triple S, 1500 placement cost, crit tree, no soul, no godly lead. Okay, he's maxed out crit tree. He's doing, what is that, anti-magic on hit, okay, on placement. So that's like the Asta effect, I think. Asta's the only unit with that, I'm pretty sure. Okay, line AoE doing 8.99 over 3.33. Pretty good for 1.5k actually, and he has high run placement. We check out the passives here. Transcendence, okay. When an enemy enters 60% of his range, which is indicated by this big purplish whitish bubble here, what's going to happen to them? Apply a stacking 1% slow the closer they are to him. So, kind of like Gojo, but different and more interesting in my opinion, up to a 30%. Increases damage enemies take by 1%, then closer enemies are hit. Wait, what? Closer enemies are to this unit. Up to 50% extra damage. Okay, so closer to Aisen means more damage taken. So he still has his main support gimmick. Nice, nice. Increase Aisen Transcendent's range by 1%, the closer. Wait, what? So if they're closer to him, he gains more range, he slows them down, and he buffs the damage they take. Okay. And then Perfection. Upon placement, start a 250-second timer, which we do not see above his head. After the timer finishes, unlock this passive. On hit, apply 1 confusion stack to the enemy. For each stack, enemy takes 2.5% more damage from Aisen Transcended up to 50%. Okay, so he's stacking up confusion by attacking them. Which I don't know if there's an indicator. I see anti-magic being applied, but no indicator of confusion. Which makes them take more damage, makes them take more damage from Aisen. Okay. 20 stacks when an enemy enters his range. Closest possible range. Stun them for 15 seconds. Okay. Looks like the closest possible range is right here. Right on that golden bubble around him. And they're gonna take a stun for 15. 15 second stun. That's actually pretty good. Okay. So far, this guy is still a support unit, and actually a really good one, I think. Let's keep going though. Thank you again, GodOfCheese. Let's upgrade him. Upgrade 5, we got Diverted Toxin. What's that going to be? A Circle AoE. Okay. Already doing really good damage. He's really cheap as well. 88.4k total right now. 120k on the next one. That animation is kind of clean. I like that. Okay. False Illusion. Upgrade A. Full AoE. Nice. Expected. Beautiful. There's the effect on that. It looked really blurry in the trailer, but it looks pretty good in here. I actually like the effect on that. Nice, nice. If we max him out here, already doing crazy damage for full AoE, but ability Reality Shatter, 2.56 billion, 2.56 billion every 8.9, 65.9 range full AoE. He has Dazed as well. Don't know when he gained that. I think it was on upgrade 8. He gains Dazed. Yep. Okay, that's actually a really good effect right there. Anti-magic, not too crazy, but you know, could be a good buff. Reality Shatter. Upon activation, choose between Reversal or Force. Okay. I'm guessing it pops up a menu like Free-Rin or Sunshine Wu. So, that's probably what that is. But, Reversal. Force all enemies to walk back for 10 seconds. Every 500 total confusion stacks applied by Aisen deal plus 5-second walk back. So, very good for infinite walk back there. It stops early if enemies reach the start of the map. Okay. And Force. Pull enemies to the closest possible position to Aisen. Time stop them for... Okay. I want to see the Force one, actually. Want to put him on none, then use Force? That sounds interesting. Let's see it right there. 2,000 second gold cooldown. Check him out here. Oh. I don't know if he put him on none, but... Wait, he might do it now, maybe? I don't know. Let's see if they get pulled to him. I don't know. Was it used? I didn't see an effect or anything, so I can't really tell, like... Did he use it? Forged, okay. I didn't see anything happen. Weird. I don't know if he, like, kind of killed it fast. I'm not sure if you guys caught it, but... I mean, he sounds like a really good unit, so... Really good support, really good, like, making enemies take more damage, time stopping them, making them walk back. Really good damage as well. I mean, for 1.2 mil, this is like godly level DPS right here, kind of, compared to some mid-tier, slightly falling off godlies. But I'd say this guy's really good. I don't know how people in my chat are saying this guy's mid. Thank you again, GodOfCheese, this guy's really strong. Moving on to the next one. Next up, we got Ulmiorra Tercera with Glitch and Mystical. Thank you, GodOfCheese, once again. This guy's gonna have triple S everything, 3.5k placement cost, crit tree, maxed out, no soul, no godly buff. He is doing 18.6 mil every 4.3 on placement. He has a line AoE, hybrid unit. Feather retraction, on placement he has an ability. Remove all feathers from enemy. Deal 15% of his unit's damage per feather applied, cap is 75%. If an enemy had 3 or more feathers, stun for 3 seconds. Okay, so feathers, let's kind of find out what that means here. Demonic feathers passive. Every attack apply 1 feather to the enemy, cap of 5. The enemy dies with feathers attached. Gain plus 5% damage per feather for 30 seconds with a cap of 25% extra. Okay, Lance of Thunder. Target the strongest enemy, apply electrified in a medium circle. Oh, every 30 seconds that happens. Okay, so every 30 seconds, target the strongest enemy, apply electrified in a medium circle, center on that enemy. Feather synergy. Increases attacks damage by 10% per feather on the target with a cap of 30%. Okay. So, off the rip, the placement damage is really good. Really good, especially with the feathers on placement. So every attack he's applying feathers and he's gonna like do different things based on that, mostly buffing his own damage and kind of stunning them. Okay. Alright then, I mean it's not bad. I'm gonna upgrade him here. Placement damage was pretty good. Violent Burst upgrade 4. He becomes a full AoE, wow, really, already. Okay. Doing really good damage for only 90k. He's pretty cheap so far, and doing good. Okay. Keep going, thank you again, GodOfCheese. Attack animation there. No Flying Expulsion. Upgrade 8, another attack animation, full AoE though. Remains full AoE. He goes in with a giant, like, ball explosion. And then now we have another ability maxed out with total cost of 1.3 mil-ish. He's doing Rend to Nothingness here. He's doing 3.12 bill every 6.46. Okay, so Ulmiorra and Aisen are probably the 2 best ones right now. Which makes sense because they're like the special boss fight ones, so... I don't know, Ulmiorra's really good for raw damage. He's got like stuff to buff his own damage as well. Rend to Nothingness. On activation, for every feather applied to an enemy, the enemy takes 5 trillion more damage. Cap of 25 trillion, gain plus 50% damage. The enemy doesn't die, apply stacking slow, minus 2% per second until 80% slow. Once 80% is reached, the slow remains for 60. Okay. So he's got a minute-long slow, kind of ramping up to 80%. A crazy nuke, up to 25 trill, and really good damage. Want to use both? So they're kind of reliant on the enemy having feathers, but I mean, let's see the animation if it has one. It doesn't look like it on feather retraction. What about the Rend to Nothingness? That one did, I think. Yeah, look at that. He had like laser beams appear there, arrows, but I didn't really see anything crazy there. Okay. I mean, he's really good for raw damage. Look at that damage there. 4.61 bill or 6.46. Really good for infinite runs as like a boss killer. Crazy raw damage. For some reason, Void ZVR says worst unit in the game in my stream chat. I don't know. I think this guy's really good. Thank you again, GodOfCheese, for showcasing. Really appreciated. I guess we'll move on to the next unit. Really cool though. Nice, very strong. Now we got my units here, so we're moving on to Uriu, and then Raijo, the Overlord Mastery, and then Glitch Mastery. Good plus everything, maxed out crit tree. Yeah. So thank you to the showcasers if they leave during these. GodOfCheese, LEQ_O, and Ryze. I'm taking over now with apparently the 2 worst units of the update. So, unfortunate, but whatever. Yeah. Starting off with Uriu, placement cost of 1.2k. He's doing 2.63 mil or 3.58 circle AoE. He's a heal unit, and the animation on that is very vibrant. There's a lot going on. I also think there's a maxed out one over here defending or something, but whatever. We'll ignore that. Passives on placement. He does have 3 countdowns or something. He has grits. Okay, every 75 seconds, trap all enemies in 30% of his range. Wait, what? Trap all enemies in 30% of his range. Okay. For 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, apply pressure to all trapped enemies. So, countdown here. We're gonna watch grits pop actually, like right now. That should trap them. And also, yeah, apply pressure when that ends as well. So yeah, you can see them getting stunned. And then one of them survived to see the pressure, but it should apply. Okay. Weapon rotation. Every 100 seconds rotate weapons between sword and bow. You can see that right there as well. You can see the timer on that as well. So rotate weapons between sword and bow. While sword is equipped, deal gain 50% damage and 25% crit damage. While bow is equipped, lose 20% SPA, gain 30% range, and gain 25% crit chance. Okay. So one of them is like a long range crit build. The other one's like a closer range crit damage build, raw damage. Okay, gotcha. Check out the upgrades here. He does have anti-magic on placement. Interesting. As the second unit of the update to have that. Light Prism in upgrade 5. He is still circular AoE, and damage is not that crazy. Spiritual Light Beam on upgrade 9 becomes a still line AoE. And maxed out Aero Barrage upgrade 10. Aero Barrage is a 3 trillion damage to the strongest enemy on the field. Once the enemy is hit with a nuke, enemies within 15% of his radius are dealt 1 trillion damage. So 3 trillion to the big guy, and 1 trillion to people near him. Okay. Well, final damage of 800 mil or 3.92 Shabat with sword. When he rotates weapons, we'll kind of see what the bow mode is going to look like, but Aero Barrage here, no animation, and it's just kind of a mini nuke with a permanent cooldown, pretty much. Permanent global cooldown. For Overlord, his damage is really good, though. So, I want to check out the weapon rotation on bow modes, you can see that too. I mean, I think he's pretty good for Overlord. This is like actually really good damage, because I've got Overlord Mastery, keep that in mind. Maxed out crit tree. Looking pretty alright, I would say. Finally, we got Raijo True Kai. This is my Collision Mastery one. Sadly, I think this might be the worst unit of the update, apparently. He's doing 3.89 over 2.8 on placement, circle AoE, and we have to upgrade him so we don't die maybe, but... Next attack, Monkey King Arm, upgrade 4. He does have actually a couple countdowns above him with Roar and Hihio. I don't know what Hihio means yet, but we'll check that out. Upgrade 4, he is still circular AoE. Check out the passes after the next attack, I guess. Snaked and Smash. Upgrade 7. We're going from upgrade 6 to upgrade 7. Full AoE. He is 305 mil or 5.6, okay. 62.1 range. Full AoE. I mean, the effect is kind of cool. I actually like the... whatever's going on. I don't know. I mean, it was cool the first time, but it's kind of hurting my eyes now. I'm gonna look away. 203 mil or 4.2. Every 1.4, wait, he's kind of changing. Okay. Either way. Not the worst damage ever. Check out the passive here. Roar. Every 150 seconds, there's the countdown above him. Switch modes. Okay, mode 1. Orochio. He's going to lose 25% SPA, gain 15% crit chance, gain 25% range, and gain the Orochio passive, which is right here. Every 5 attacks, reduce SPA by an additional 50%. We can see that happening every now and then. And then gain 10% crit chance. On every crit follow-up with an extra hit that deals 50% of his damage. Okay, so follow-up attacker. Maybe he's not that bad then. And then if he actually crits the follow-up, if you have high crit chance on him, you can apply Rupture based on the 50% multiplier. Okay. Rupture is a very good effect. 5.4 times the 50% multiplier. He could actually be really good for full AoE. Hold on. Otherwise, the other form of Roar, Hihio, mode 2, he gains 50% damage, 25% crit damage, 10% range, and the Hihio passive, which he has right now. Hihio, every 5 attacks, next attack deals 2.5 times damage. If that attack crits, do not apply crit damage. Instead, apply Dismantled. Okay. So you can cancel out a crit for Dismantled. I don't know if that's that good, but could be alright. Okay. Reconstruction. When he gets stunned, so you might want to use Shenji with him to stun him. He's going to cleanse the stun, apply minus 50% damage for the... Okay, never mind, you don't want to do that. Apply minus 50% damage for the original stun duration, and deal tick damage equal to 50% of his damage every second, and he's in range for the same duration. Okay, so... it still is bad to get stunned on him, but he does pretty good damage, like, he still attacks during it pretty much. After the debuff ends, apply bleed based on the minus 50% damage value during reconstruction. Raijo cannot be stunned again. After reconstruction ends, 20-second local cooldown. Okay, so it's kind of like a stun bypass that still does damage, but not that crazy. Like, if he gets stunned, he's doing damage in full AoE, but it's not as good if you were attacking. Okay, max him out here. Higa Zeko. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Higa Zeko. He is doing 509 mil or 4.2 full AoE. The ability, I'm going to turn off the attack animation because it's getting really bad, but okay. On activation, Raijo stops attacking for 100 seconds. During this duration, it deals tick damage equal to 50% of his damage at every 2 seconds. If a tick crits, apply bleed type dot in order. Bleed, then hemorrhage, then mutilate, then dismantle, then rupture. Apply permanent cripple to all enemies in range. Enemies in range take 25% more damage from Raijo permanently. Okay, so he's just a raw damage unit. If I pop that right there, does it have an animation? Nope, but it is going to stun him. So it does actually work. It does do what it says. Turn the attack animation back on. He shouldn't be attacking, but he will be killing stuff from the tick damage thing because of his reconstruction. Okay, I mean, not bad, not bad. I think he's pretty alright. Like, good for raw damage, but not as good as like Aisen and Ulmiorra. So I don't know. He's okay. I thought this guy would be worse. Honestly, I heard he was like the worst one in Bleach. I don't know. Anyways, of course, thank you to GodOfCheese, LEQ_O, and Ryze for showcasing this video. That is every unit from the Bleach update besides the Divine Boost, which I'll probably drop a different video on after this one. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know if you think these units are good. Otherwise, this was recorded live, so sorry if I'm bad at talking. This is after a almost 8-hour live stream because we were waiting for maintenance. Anyways, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.